couple of videos ago, somebody said that this boss was the easiest boss of the season. We've seen a lot of evidence that that is not true. We are again here on the Candle King and again here on a low key. We got some hilarity to follow. Let's get right to it. So we start out here with the Shaman's Key. This is Dark Flame Cleft 7, and apparently we have a pre-made in the group. I'm going to read you the email now. Tank and Evoker DPS look like a pre-made, but it's no big deal. We're going to go anyway. Here's the actual group. Let's take a look at that too. This was recorded on June 28th, so it was a while ago now, but this is what the players look like as of right now. This is the guy's alt. We actually have a pretty accomplished player here, 3,500 player. That's the guy's main, so that guy's like a huge standout in this group in terms of like skill and progression. This is the healer in the group. This guy is 23 something, barely done 10s by now, but at the time I guess 7 was probably their progression points. Here is the mage. This is the person who actually submitted this to me. They say they were an alt and that they were learning mage at the time. And then this is the guy in question that I think is going to be kind of the focus of the situation here. This is a boost, like a hard boost, like somebody who definitely would not be in the key without their friend. This was a while ago too. I guess the guy's just given up playing the spec. But yeah, didn't even do all the dungeons, never did Dark Flame Cleft at all. Like after this one, it really burned him, I guess. I hate this. We talk about this all the time where a high score or somebody who looks like a good pick comes in with somebody who's a terrible pick. But then it's even worse because this is really a 3,500 player and this is not. This is his main. So, you know, barely keeping up with the guy's alt. And then here's the shaman and the group leader. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I have no idea how to type that in. I don't know how to type that guy's name into this. So off to a bit of an ominous start here. Very confused by this first comment from the tank. Just follow after first 3 pack. What? What does that mean? This looks like a lot more normal start to the dungeon though. We are going to pull the big pack of non-elites into the next pack and try to gather it all over here. We do not bloodlust. I think that at some point they ask about bloodlust and they say to not use it on the first pack, instead to use it on the second pack. But yeah, we actually really needed it here. This is actually a pretty hard pack. Holy Pally ends up dying, seemingly to just like a bunch of stuff targeting him maybe. Okay, this is what he means by just follow him. We're going to try to skirt the left side here and not aggro anything on the right. And he's basically just going to try to line of sight all this stuff. And it's going to work. It's actually kind of crazy. I didn't think you would be able to skip that pack that is like seemingly tethered to the pack that's standing right next to it. We're going to lust like insanely early. I assume this is not when the guy would have wanted lust, but we are lusting before most of the mobs are even gathered up. Not sure exactly what this is supposed to look like, but they are all still going to get knocked back in all different directions. And then because they're targeting people who are not like a line of sighting or whatever this person is doing, they just stay out there and continue to almost kill the mage here. That's pretty close to death there. I don't know, it doesn't feel like this did anything special outside of just pull a lot of trash in one area. And again, shaman almost got like lots of almost deaths here. Again, luckily a 7. This is a tyrannical 7 as well. So we nearly have like what amounts to like a full wipe. We have like many close calls here on this 7 with no fortified. Mobs are getting knocked all around. Now things have really slowed down in terms of how we're killing them. But ultimately we're going to get by with just a 1 death on the trash. This is the boss we know we have to get hard for. So we are doing that. Fortunately, Mage did not get the memo. So they're just going to get killed by the laborers as they're running over to do the affix. But no issues on the first boss. Otherwise, on our way to the second boss, Paladin, a death magnet. I think he just stands and shit. Yeah, he's just dead. So that guy's out. So he's got to run back. So we have no healer now for a while. And a lot of people are sitting very low. It's actually kind of crazy that nobody died up until this point. And then like literally as the mob is about to die, oh no. How does that happen? Oh my god, it's like 1% away from dying and the evoker ends up dying as well. The shaman doesn't seem to get the picture. The healer's not here, so the shaman's just like running around in circles. The tank asks him to res and he does end up doing that, resing the evoker. He's pulling extra stuff in this room and he's going to kind of drag it in as we get to this really large pull. Look at the tank's health. Almost goes down himself. I think everybody's just so split up. This is just not working at all. Tons and tons of casts going off here. Obviously the Demon Hunter tank is trying to get them all, but it's not happening and we're going to have multiple near deaths. One does definitely die. The mage goes down. Shortly after, the shaman is going to join him. Looks to me like the guy onks because he does not run back with him, so he's back alive there. And again, we're just not doing it right. So we have 3 more deaths, end up 9 deaths to this kind of really overly aggressive. I don't even know if you call it aggressive. It was just like too fast. You just try to do it too fast. And this is one of the major issues I have with Demon Hunter tanks. Their mobility is their worst enemy. It actually never helps. Like I almost never see them use it in benefits in Loki's. So at this point, multiple people have died and ran back, but guess who's not going to run back? That is the evoker DPS who's being carried by the tank. So 9 deaths is a lot for a 7, frankly, and it's all really just to that one pull and that one weird mistake there. But Candle King coming up here, but it's actually more than just Candle King that causes the interesting situation. So because this guy is a 3,500 player, he thinks that the only way to do the dungeon is to skip this pack. Nobody's probably surprised by that, but he's actually going to just jump over the ledge himself like it doesn't even matter. Another example of Demon Hunter overusing their utility. The guy's just up there waiting. A lot of these people don't know what they're doing. The Shaman actually does, but I would say 2 people are not able to do this skip. This is why I don't do it, because it is simply just not a good idea, especially in a key where you know you can upgrade without it. But we are going to just kind of run against the wall here, not figure it out. The person who sent this to me said they'd never actually done the skip before, so I think they are going to try to do something here, but I guess the mob has True Sight. You kind of can't tell because of the way it's facing, but it does have True Sight, so instead of trying to skip it, we are just going to die to it and get a res, which absolutely works. Hard to believe that this is faster in a 7, right? Sitting here resing the guy, all that nonsense doesn't look good to me. We have now showed this boss a lot recently, like many times in the last few weeks, and we do a pretty good job of stacking, keeping the candles all together in this little area. Here is the first frontal. It is on the Paladin, who is not in melee range, just kind of standing out there, dropping Consecrate like right underneath him in range. I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea. This is a viable way to play Holy Pally, I guess. That is not a viable way to play Holy Pally, though. He just doesn't move with the arrow, just stands still and gets killed by it. I didn't even realize it would kill you, to be honest. He's the only actual class who can battle res. Now, the Demon Hunter is doing something interesting. He runs down there and is trying to, I guess, reset the boss or shadow meld it or something like that. But this is not working, and this is taking very, very long. Even more time, just kind of losing all kinds of time here. Not really an issue in a 7, you would imagine, but just looks really fucking weird because this boss is just not resetting. In fact, there's a door there, but he does ultimately reset. It just takes a while. Now, the boss is already reset when the Paladin says this, but I guess it's kind of right on the cusp of happening. The Paladin says, "Die, Mr. Uber Tank," with a smile, maybe a little bit sarcastic. I have no idea what this mob is, but we come back to him fighting this. I guess maybe one of the mobs from the trash pack that we skipped that kind of got separated or something. We're gonna do it again. All right, this time we're gonna have the Evoker help the Mage. Last time the Mage couldn't figure it out, but the Evoker is gonna be able to get up there easily, and they are gonna rescue the Mage up. And that is good because last time they rescued somebody else. But guess what? That somebody else is the Paladin, who just now demonstrated that they don't have any idea that a mechanic was on them and they died to it. Perhaps is now kind of on edge because of the tank not resetting the boss the way he wanted him to. The Paladin got used to getting pulled up here and now has no idea how to do it otherwise. So they're just gonna sit here and kind of just run around in circles. Says, "Lift me up." Evoker says, 40-second CD, "I can't take both of you." Mage accurately points out we could have killed the pack 2 times by now. Yeah, for real. Shaman says, "Okay, well, last time it worked, just die and we'll res you this time." Demon Hunter responding to that comment from the Mage saying, "Cool." And here we go. Now things are coming into their own. Evoker says, or maybe learn the jump. By the way, 2 classes that are cheesing it, telling players in a 7 how to play the video game. All right, great tip there, Mr. 1K fucking score guy getting carried by his friend. Meanwhile, in case you couldn't tell what's happening, we'll go back here. Paladin is trying to die, but I guess just like, I don't know, the Shaman's just too close or something. He just immediately gets targeted by a mechanic and doesn't recognize that. And so it brings the mob that like charges all the way up the stairs. These guys are still like typing about like, lol, you don't know how to do this skip that you should never have to do in a 7. Paladin's laughing about it, but yeah, we are ultimately going to have that fail to reset. The guy invised, and then these guys are just like ultimately just still in combat with it. So I guess now we've like split pulled it. I have no idea how this even happens, but we're fighting this alone. Of course, the 2 people who died have to release, and they're going to have to run back through the trash again. Actually kind of funny, as the Paladin is getting back to the jump, he just gets knocked back again. So it's like, this is now like impossible to do the jump skip. Evoker willingly going to fly down there, and I guess that's probably to try to help the Paladin, because I guess they probably realize that like if the Paladin doesn't get up here, they're going to wipe again. I assume these guys are in Discord talking about this. So he's going to try to do it again, and he kind of is struggling to do it, but he does again ultimately just glide his way to victory, like literally cheesing the mechanic while telling other people to do it better. And then they're going to get knocked back, but he actually pulls that off. That's actually crazy. The knockback happens at the same time as he does the rescue. Otherwise, that probably was going to be a total disaster. And it actually works out. I guess the Shaman just ultimately makes the skip on their own because at some point they're just up here. And so we didn't kill the entire pack, but we did clear the trash mob, and now we're fighting the boss again, and the fight's still impossible. Apparently, here comes the frontal. This time it's on the Shaman, and again, just gonna miss it by a hair. I mean, how many times have we seen this? We've seen this a lot this season now. So Shaman gets all the way knocked back and killed by that mechanic. Not really sure how the Mage dies. I mean, it's not like the healer was the one who got knocked back again, but we just died and not getting healed or something like that. We get the mechanic, and we're just hovering around 50, below 50 now, not really going up in health, and we just ultimately get killed by the mechanic expiring. And then, of course, we have some commentary from these guys. XDDDDDDDD says Snow Demon Hunter, and the 1K score guy getting carried by his friend says, "Are you guys for real?" Paladin replies, says, sorry. I guess trying to say sorry. Oh my god, this is just like facepalm. Guess what we're doing again, guys? Hey there, guys. We're gonna skip it again. It's the third time now. Gonna try to rescue somebody. I don't know if he just like failed there. I saw the rescue anime. Okay, there he goes. He pulls the Paladin this time because that's the squeaky wheel getting the grease there. The mage is now off to fend for themselves. Again, they're gonna try slow falling, and it works! Oh, big play, big play. He actually uses slow fall before told about it. The demon hunter says, "Mage, you are 3.1k on main," all caps, getting ready to insult him as they expected him not to be able to figure out how to do the jump. And it's actually a very bizarre statement, because if you believe that 3.1k is like something to suggest that this guy should know the skip and he doesn't know the skip, it tells you the skip is not needed. That's all that tells you, right? That's literally all that tells you, is that you're wasting time, that you are doing this to your own detriment, especially in a 7. We run into this so many times in these reviews where people are just expecting people to know something, and when they don't, then they get like uppity with them, which really doesn't make any sense at all. Like, you put these people in this position and now you're mad at them. Anyway, we know the Candle King is undefeated, and again, we are just gonna miss the kick, which is actually kind of crazy. I have been told that 2 people can 100% get the kicks by themselves, so if you just have 2 people coordinating it, you can do it every time. To me, that sounds like the Demon Hunter and the Evoker should do it, but they are not going to be commutative on that point because they both overlap on the previous one. So that's the previous one. Actually looks like everybody overlaps, or maybe they're trying to do the affix or something like that, but one way or the other, they both use their interrupt on the previous one. Here's another one. The only person who could interrupt theoretically is the Paladin. The Shaman's comes up at the very last second, so we are going to get feared, and it looks like the Paladin probably gets feared into one of the candles and dies, or maybe he just got feared into the wax. So he's going to die again, and that means everybody else is going to die again, and this is now going to be our 17th wipe on Candle King. 25 deaths. Now, just like the last time we reviewed this, I'm really shocked to see a healer who makes mistakes actually own them, and perhaps even own them in a strange way. The Paladin says, "I suck, so leave. Sorry." Wow, not what I expected to be said. And look at this fucking 12-year-old replying to him. He says, "Yeah, you do." The Paladin says, "Thank you." Like, oh wow, great. Mage says, "Come on, let's finish." Now we say this: friend with 640 item level can double your HPS. What the fuck kind of comment is that? I love the reply. He says, "Good friend." Evoker says, "Apparently." The Paladin says, "But he lies." Oh shit. Evoker says, "How?" Meanwhile, the tank's gonna try to solo save it, and I guess it's very doable. I feel like probably the affix would be the hardest part, but as a Demon Hunter, I guess you have a lot of options to do stuff with it. Kind of just too many mechanics, ultimately gonna go down, and then we're back to talking. The Paladin says, "He says things just to think you are special," which is a fucking spectacular reply to this. Now the Demon Hunter is getting involved. He says, "Motherfucker, I played with him +8 when he had 600 item level on his priest. Nobody gives a fuck about this theoretical person you're making up, dude. Shut the fuck up." Like, how are they even talking about this? It's so stupid. But look at the comment again. What a tremendous comment from the Paladin. I love this guy, dude. He says his agenda is to peg you. Oh my god. Guess what we're doing again? Guess what we're doing it again? All right. The Paladin, he doesn't have slow fall. He's just gonna run into the trash probably while typing about pegging. And this time he's gonna be a little petty about it. He's actually gonna drag that up there. Actually, he's just gonna fucking heal himself. It looks like he's trying to wipe them, but he's probably trying to force them to pull it. So they actually just fucking fight it. They just kill all the shit and it just dies. I love this guy because he forced them to fight this trash. That's actually genius. He should have did that earlier. I think he ran up, maybe even bubbled, but he just ran up and survived it long enough. Everybody else got in combat, so these clowns aren't gonna fucking die again to it, so they're just gonna kill it. And they pull it again! How about that? They actually pull the boss again. Seemingly, that's how bad this Evoker needs this key, I guess. I don't know why they're even still in the group, to be honest. Kind of shocking to see them all trying their best, too. Like, they're actually trying to do the fight, but unfortunately, the Paladin does not see the mechanic again, I guess. I don't know what this guy's doing. I really don't. Is this how you're supposed to play Paladin? He's just like 40 yards away from the boss, and he's just standing out in the middle of nowhere and gets hit again with the arrow, dies again with the arrow. I want to love this guy, but man, does he make it hard. Now they're speaking in a different language. I don't know what language this is, so let's try to find out. Typed it in, and this is what we get. It's Czech. Czech, is that a language? Czech apparently is a language. He says, "You have cancer, damn it." I don't think that's what he says. People were saying I should just try to use AI to solve it, because like, I don't know. It's like, I guess Google Translate is just shit now. So I type it in, and it says, "You have cancer like a dick." What the fuck? "A highly vulgar and offensive insult." Oh, really? Then he says that is not possible. The Evoker is communicating in English. He says, "I can't." That's easier to translate. Now I love this guy actually starts looking this shit up in the middle of the dungeon. This is amazing, by the way. He looked him up prior. This was his key sheet from the time of this recording. So even crazier, like fucking not even 1,000 score getting carried in this key. And then you see something a little bit maybe worse. He's got more score as Og than Devastation. Okay, I'm gonna have to report him to Blizzard. But anyway, now he does the Google Translate too. Look at this. He types it in and gets the same results. "You have cancer, damn it." It's like, what the fuck? He's trying to figure out what they're saying, but but they're actually still talking. So we're going to actually scroll down now and see that. The Evoker ultimately just says, well, unlucky, but the Demon Hunter says one more thing that's definitely not in English. Trying one more time here, and this is the result we get. I don't know. This can't be right. Again, with the AI, it says the first word is vulgar and offensive term, roughly translating to fucking. The second term is a derogatory term for Romani people. It's considered highly offensive due to association with historical discrimination and prejudice. So what's that? Kind of like the N-word in that language, I guess. And then kokot, we've already seen a vulgar word for penis, apparently. Okay. This guy's fucking worked up over this, man. But that is ultimately going to end the key. Powden dying 3 times to boss mechanics on a 7. It was tyrannical, but at least still a 7. Man, I don't know. This was a while ago, too. This is kind of middle of the season. I wouldn't say middle, but it's like 3/5 of the season have gone by at this point. So pretty rough. The reactions are crazy, man. People are out there doing nuts things in the chat box. If you guys are running into keys like this, please make sure you submit them. But at this point, we're pretty much done with season 2 reviews. We've got maybe a couple more coming, and then we're getting ready for the season and the end of season disband review, which I'm definitely going to be eager to see how that one goes. Please, 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 if you guys have enjoyed these videos over the last 3 weeks, please make sure you guys record the runs and send them in. Thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next one.